Hey guys, what's up? It's munclesonkey and welcome to Condemned to PVM Episode 2. So before we really get started in this episode, which will be the Glazors and TDs episode by the way, probably my favorite out of all these episodes to make and really easy because I can do them on Slayer task, I do gotta say I'm not going to be uploading this series all that often because it takes a long time to put together an episode due to a lot of PVMing having to go into that episode. So, some people were asking, oh, are you going to continue the series or do you stop after episode 1? No, the plan the entire time for this series has been to upload just rather infrequently, so you might see an episode of this like once every 2 weeks. Just don't expect it to be like my 120 Slayer series where I upload a couple days. And in the background here, I do apologize for possibly some of the worst Glazor killing of all time, including, just completely disregard the Lava Titan. The main reason I wanted to do this is, oh my goodness, Glacors look so cool killing on Bloom. So I thought it would make a nice intro because all those Bloom effects are beautiful. Thank you to all the people who suggested that I turn those on because I am not regretting that choice so far. So as I said, I did all of these for the most part on Slayer task. I did camp a few Glazors, like 500 or so, which isn't really a lot considering I'm on my 16th Glazor staff now. I have made 14. I have one ready to make in my bank. I have over 100 Armadillo shards banked, and I'm working on number 16 at the moment. Still not tired of them, although I do gotta say Glazors have one of the most frustrating glitches in the entire game where about like 10% of the time if you click on a Glacite minion, your character will not attack that Glacite minion. It's incredibly frustrating. It sucks. The monster targeting at Glazors has been broken since the Evolution of Combat came out, and it has never been fixed, and it is something that I really hope is fixed in the future. But yes, there are times you click on a Glacite and nothing happens. Your character just keeps attacking the Glazor or attacking the other Glacite, and that sucks. But other than that, they are a great Slayer task, and looking forward to more of these in the future. So it's time to get into the clips now, and I do have to apologize. If you have seen my loot from 1000 Tormented Demons, you probably have seen most of these clips because I did pretty much finish off Tormented Demons, getting all of the unique drops from them during that 1000. I have gone back and I have gotten actually more limbs from TDs. However, what I'm doing for this series is once I finish off a boss, I can go back to that boss, but any more drops I get don't count towards the overall tab because I've already finished the boss. So I did finish Tormented Demons, which means this is the first boss during the entire series which are done. I don't have to do any more Tormented Demons, although I will during my Slayer task. However, any drops won't count towards it. So I did have to get the Dragon Limbs, the Dragon Claws, and all 3 Ruined Dragon Armor Shards, which that was probably the toughest thing to get, the Ruined Dragon Armor Shards, because they are fairly rare, like a 1 in 400 drop rate or something like that. I do believe they are a little bit more rare than Limbs and Claws, which are both right around 1 in 300. So of course, you're mainly going there for the limbs, but I also wanted all 3 of the Armor Shards as well, just to finish off TDs. And I gotta say, it was kind of frustrating doing TDs because they're really easy on Slayer tasks, but when you're not on Slayer tasks, you kind of miss some of that accuracy. They're really fun for about the first 500, and also I was getting incredibly lucky getting limbs left and right. I did get 7 pairs of limbs, as you already know if you saw my loot from 1000 TDs video, and that was way above the drop rate. You should really only expect about 3 or 4 limbs in that amount of Tormented Demon kills, but again, I got pretty lucky, what can I say, and I have continued that luck when it comes to Tormented Demon Slayer tasks in the future. And if you're watching the Road to 120 Slayer series, every once in a while I'll throw in like a Dragon Limbs drop if I get one, and if I don't get one, then obviously I won't throw it in because there's nothing to throw in. But I also finished off Glazors as well, so both of these are done. The first 2 monsters I finished in the series. I was kind of expecting, as the Dragon Limb drops just continue, oh my goodness, they keep going, are they ever going to stop? But the Glazors was by far the easiest boss I was going to have this entire series because that just comes along with Slayer, and since Morvran is just, he has some sort of thing with Glazors, I don't know what he does, he non-stop assigns me Glazor tasks, including assigning me 3 Glazor tasks in a row without having to cancel anything, and that now is something that can happen due to the prefer list coming out. Previously that was impossible. You could not get a task back to back being the same task without having to cancel tasks in between, but with the prefer list now you can, which I still have somewhat mixed feelings about. An effigy thrown in there. I will be throwing in like rare drops like effigies, or I don't know, 200 noted battle staff, stuff like that, especially as we get on into bosses like Kalphite King of Viraga, where the drops are a lot less common. And I do believe that is the last pair of Dragon Limbs. There's 7 Dragon Limbs, which sold for a total of about 120 mil, if I do believe correctly. And now we go into the Glazors. So there's the first pair of boots, Glaven boots. I got myself a couple Glavens, couple rage fires as well, and finally ended off with the steads, which was just beautiful. So Glaven boots, first of all, which were really nice because at the time when I got these, this is soon after OurAutobiography came out, so these things were selling for like 10 mil a pop. I sold one of those Glaven boots for 10.3 mil and the other one I believe for 9.7 mil, and then I ended up buying back my pair of Glaven boots that I had earlier, and I sold it when OurAutobiography came out and made a huge profit, and I bought them back for like 6 mil. That's what I believe they stabilized around now, and I got the rage fires. I was kind of upset because I had been getting a ton of rage fires and I was just wanting those steads. And here's another shard of Armadyl made into an Armadyl battle staff. I believe this was number 13 that I made overall, and I now have number 14 banked and ready to make whenever, and I got 3 pairs of boots during that particular staff, and you know, decent profit there. But steadfast boots, it happened. It took like over 6,000 Glzor kills to actually get these steadfast boots. I went pretty dry in terms of steads, but it happened during a Slayer task, and that finished off the Glzors for me. So getting into exactly how many kills I did and exactly what drops I got. First off, for the TDs, I did 1,048 kills, and that's how many kills it took me to get all 3 armor shards, which was, I guess, pretty nice because I was expecting it to take a lot more than that. At least in terms of armor shards, it's probably around the drop rate. Obviously, got a little bit lucky with the limbs, I will admit that, and also the limbs were selling for a nice price at the moment when I got them, but you guys will see exactly how much they sold for at the end of the video. But that was pretty nice. It took quite a bit longer with Glazors, to be honest, especially because you can kill the TDs a little bit faster than you can kill the Glazors, but overall the TDs were really successful. And for the Glazor kills, it took me nearly 2 entire staffs to get every single one of the unique boot drops. Of course, every 1,000 Glazor kills is a staff of Armadyl, roughly. It's not exactly 1,000 kills most of the time, but it is a 1 in 10 drop rate for those shards, and you need 100 of them. 100 times 10 equals 1,000, pretty basic math there. But I did unfortunately lose one of the 2 Ragefire boots that I got, so even though I only showed me getting 1 drop, I did get 2 drops, and the reason why I did not show both of them is because the other Ragefire boot drop clip got lost while I was changing computers, because I got it on my old PC and I am now on my new PC, so we will unfortunately never see him. So now we go into the price checks, and as I have been doing for, well, just the previous episode so far, but as I will continue to do for future episodes, first I price check the regular drops, which means the non-unique drops. So the first one that I price checked here was from Glacors, and look at those charms. All those charms are going to help me out a ton when I wind up doing summoning on Double XP weekend for some reason. Still not completely sure why I'm deciding to go for summoning, but it's great XP. And then we price check the regular loot from the Tormented Demons. Still a good amount of charms, but Tormented Demons drop crimsons a lot less often, but they drop blues even more often, so I guess that somewhat makes up for it. Nice little 13 mil there from the TDs. Regular drops aren't amazing, but they do add up, and you know, it seems pretty similar between the 2 monsters in terms of their regular drops. Pretty similar value of the stuff. So huge 141 mil cash pile there. You might be wondering, where's that from? Well, all told, that is from the 7 pairs of Dragon Limbs, as well as 1 pair of Rage Bars and an Armadyl Battle Staff, as well as the 3 Dragon Armor Lumps. And then everything else in my inventory, I just managed to happen to have lying around my bank so I could just price check the items themselves. Adds up to 173 mil from the unique drops alone, and if I add that onto the regular drops, adds to a total of 208 mil gross profit. And then you gotta minus the cost of supplies, obviously, but still, I turned a humongous profit here. Probably made at least 195 mil from killing these monsters, because it doesn't cost a whole lot to actually go and kill them, which is just ridiculous. And yes, I did get quite lucky with the TDs, but regardless, these are still both great money at the current prices. So where exactly does this leave me on my quest to get 1 of every single drop from every single boss in the game? Well, I have 2 of them done already, so that's a pretty big amount of progress, I would say, although technically these 2 aren't even counted as bosses, but I am counting them as bosses because, of course, I did decide to remove 2 bosses, Barrows and Giant Mole, because I don't really consider them very boss-like, and I consider TDs and Glazors much more so. Also, if we go to our overall tab value, as you can see here in the last episode, if I price checked everything I got from God War's Dungeon, that all added up to about 133 mil total, which is quite a bit from God War's Dungeon, but hey, I got lucky on those Sarah Hilts. So adding up the total price check from last episode, as well as adding up the total price check from this episode, we come out to 341 mil of total gross profit. Of course, not all of that is total profit, as we have to count out supply costs and such, but still, that is a huge amount. I cannot wait to see how much the profit will be after this series is over. it's gonna be billions. But anyway, that's about all for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one, which unfortunately won't be out for probably like 2 weeks because I haven't been PVMing very much. I've been sticking to that Slayer grind, son. But I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next video, and farewell.